I'm Corbett Wall with DVAuction, here with your feeder flash for Tuesday, November the 12th, brought to you in part by VITALIX. VITALIX is having a tub giveaway for feeder flash gang members. I'll give you more information on that in just a second, but not all tubs are created equal, and VITALIX has 44 different kinds. They're having a tub giveaway. If you're watching this on NationalBeefWire, click the VITALIX ad right next to this video. If you're watching this on YouTube, click VITALIX down in the description bar. Get the blue tub. Your cows will love you. For more information, go to vitalix.com. Also, Beaver County Stockyards in Beaver, Oklahoma, expecting about 3,000 head for their Tuesday feeder cattle auction. There'll be 2,300 calves, mostly weighing 400 to 600 pounds. Only about 25% of them wean, but 80% of them will have at least one round of IVR there. Including in that is 341 Charolais Cross 5 weights. They'll be a good kind. Then we've got a big consignment of fancy black steers from Ashland, Kansas. There's 167 head of them weighing in the fives. They're 60 days weaned, had all their shots. May weigh closer to 6 there too, but pretty good consignments. And they got 400 to 500 yearlings. Gonna have 3 loads of 8 and 9 weight steers selling in loads. They're coming in Tuesday morning there. The rest of the yearlings will be packages. They will have some grazing yearlings there. Wednesday the cow sale 300 to 400. Have a few young bred cows, but mostly just the older bred cows and weigh ups. Trump's ag secretary, that's a big question. We're going to find out who's going to do it. We hope that we get a better candidate than Sonny Perdue. We had high hopes for him, but he was kind of a flop. And so we're going to see if what we find with an ag secretary, see if we can get something done, see if they're just going to continue to kick the farm bill down the road, or if we've got somebody that wants to really take it on and get something updated there. But man, there is a long list, I mean a laundry list of possible candidates. And I don't see any of them that are really rising to the top. Now some of the media thinks Abel Maldonado is one of the top ones. He's a strawberry picker from California. Being in the cattle business, I don't think we're going to be too excited about getting him in there. It'd be like trying to, describe, something to somebody that's never seen one before. Some of the other ones that are listed in there, Zippy Duval, he would be just about like Sonny Perdue. He's a big-time corporate farmer from Georgia there, and he's been director of Farm Bureau there for a long time, and pretty much goes hand in hand with the National Corporate Beef Association on everything that he does. Kip Tom is an Indiana farmer who's been really successful, and there's several in there that are farmers that have gotten really successful. The heck of it is, for them to be successful enough to impress Trump, they're likely going to be cinched up pretty tight to establishment industries and your corporate types. So we would really like to have somebody in there that would understand, promote, and support the small producers, especially small cattle producers. Of course, we want what we want. Another one in there is Sid Miller. He's been the Texas Ag Commissioner for over 10 years now, I guess. And he's pretty much got the same temperament as Trump. Now, that may attract Trump to him. He's been a big Trump supporter. He's got some skeletons in the closet, not that the rest of them don't, but I think he might be somebody we could at least talk to, but he might be enamored by Texas cattle feeders and Texas Southwestern Cattle Raisers Association and not listen to much anybody else on the cattle deals. But one that we really want, and they say is a long shot, but maybe we could get him in there, is Representative Thomas Massey from Kentucky. Now, he's one that a lot of us think would be really good in there. The problem is he's a Republican representative. We hate to give up a spot like that. We don't have much, favor in the House, but we could get another Republican in there. But he's one that I'm hearing we would like to get in there. Another one is North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum. He's mostly energy, and I would think that he would be more slated for that, although he would know something about agriculture. I think he's a rancher up there. Another one is Glenn Thompson, they say has had Trump's ear. He's from Pennsylvania. But we don't know who it's going to be. Now, as soon as we find out who it is, then we'll start betting them ourselves and seeing if we can get anything pushed through that would help small cattle producers and cattle marketing. But we just, we're not sure what's going to happen. He has been naming them. I tell you what, on Monday, just every hour or so, you would hear somebody else that he had slated, that Trump had slated to be in his cabinet. So he's likely going to get those selected pretty fast and zip them right through being affirmed. But man, on Monday, I told you guys that they would be coming after those Pee-wee wheat grazers, and boy, did they. I mean, they come after them strong. And, it wouldn't have done us any good to know that unless we had some. But the guys that did have them, were handsomely rewarded if they had them in the cattle auctions on Monday. And your wheat guys, I mean, they are just really getting excited on it now because they were thinking that they may not even have any wheat. And if we did, they may not be able to turn out to December. Well, all of a sudden, there it is. We've got wheat, and it's just keeping people awake at night growing. You can hear it from the road, and if it dries up enough to get them turned out where they won't stomp too much of it out, you could get them turned out by November the 15th, even on leased pastures there, and run those up until April 15th. But I've mentioned before, there's a jillion different varieties of that wheat, and most of the guys that want to graze it, they don't even plant varieties that are meant to make a crop out of. So they're going to graze that out all the way, whether it's now, the whole season, just graze out, or whether they just cut hay off of it. But that's basically what they're going to do on that. I want to talk to you a minute about DVAuction's production sales. That's our bread and butter. It's not the feeder flash. We don't make that much on the feeder flash, but we do have well over 100 commercial sale barns every week that we broadcast now. We're proud of that, and we're proud to have all of our broadcasters. But our production sales are our bread and butter. We do over 1,500 of them a year, and those would be seed stock sales and things like that. And we're getting into the season here for the fall sales, and I'm going to give you our October DVAuction production sale report. We had more than 18,250 bids come across the DVAuction console on our production sales during October. We sold 3,150 lots on there for a total purchase of $16.2 million. If you guys are having a production sale, having it on site there or wherever you're having it, if you're just having it on video, we can do it. I tell you what, we've got the biggest buying pool of anybody. Been doing it longer, and if you're really missing out if you don't get DVAuction to come in and broadcast your production sale, guys. But check us out there. Let's talk about your board to open the week on Monday. December live cattle were unchanged at $183.70. That was about $3 cheaper than last week's weighted average, but everybody seemed to think that that was a good place to keep it, so it stayed unchanged. February live cattle up 7 cents at $185.37. Your back months were all higher, from 17 cents to $1 higher, so a pretty decent day there. November feeder cattle up 72 cents at $246.15, and they're trading at a $3 to $4 discount to what your cash index levels are, and we're selling these cattle really well. We're on really tight supplies of them, tighter than I think most of us thought there would be. But so it's going to have to kind of keep up with that as we get later in the month. January feeder cattle up 82 cents at $242.25. Your back months up 67 to $1.10 higher. So pretty good day on your cattle futures, really. It was kind of this and that, nothing day till late in the session when we established it higher. But December corn down a penny a bushel at 4.30. January beans down 8 cents at 10.22 1/4 cents. And hard red winter wheat for December down 4 3/4 cents a bushel at 5.59 1/2. Your weighted average on last week's negotiated fed cattle trade brought to you by Legacy Beef Cooperative, guys. They are building that Cattleman's Heritage beef plant near Council Bluffs, Iowa. If you're thinking about the future, you want to go in and purchase some shares of that cooperative, so you will assure yourself a place to have your cattle harvested, and then it's just a good investment. You can trade those shares back and forth if you don't have any cattle ready, or you just want to do it as an investment. You can do that. But last week we sold only 43,300 head negotiated cash out of your 5-area feeding region. We'd had a couple of weeks of pretty good movement there, and then I guess we were due for a really light one. Well, it was really light. That 43,300 compares to 70,400 the previous week, and only 42,200, which was less the same week a year ago. Live sales of fat steers and heifers in your 5-area feeding region, negotiated cash 184 to 189. That's $3 lower. Weighted average on live steers in the 5-area was 186.53, down 329. Ouch! More than just the $3 we saw in the flat market there. Dress sales ranged from 290 to 293. Your practical spread was from 293 to 298, but there was like 11 or 1200 at 290 there, but that was $6 lower. And your weighted average on dressed steers was 293.13, down 384 compared to the previous week's weighted average on dressed steers. Ouch! As a whole, your Southern Plains market was $3 lower at 187. Northern Plains 2 to 5 lower from 185 to 188, and dress sales 2 to 4 lower at 294 mostly. Nationwide, we sold 50,000 head negotiated, which is light. That compares to 87,600 the previous week and just 50,300 the same week a year ago. Of that 50,000 negotiated nationwide, about 8,500 of those is all that were sold for the 2 to 4 week delivery. That's only 17% and a little bit lighter than usual. Negotiated grid sales last week totaled 46,600. Forward contracts written were 9,700 head, and formula sales were also fairly light at 241,500. I know that sounds monster, but that's a little bit lighter than what they typically do. Of your 4 out of 5 areas that we get information from, Iowa sold 13,400 negotiated. That's less than half what they've been doing the last few weeks, and they've got to be plucked pretty clean there, guys, because they've had huge movements negotiated cash last few weeks. Nebraska about 19,900, Kansas 7,000, Texas only 3,000 head negotiated cash. Box beef cutout values started out this week higher. We lost so much ground last week, but choice cuts are up 28 cents at 308.21. Selects up 265 at 281.84. Your slaughter to start the week, very disappointing to start the week out on Monday. Only 112,000 estimated cattle slaughter on Monday, and that was 8,000 less than the previous week, 12,000 less than the same day to start the week a year ago. Talk about what else is going on. Payne County Stockyards in Perkins, Oklahoma. They're a DVAuction broadcaster. They've got a calf special coming up this Wednesday. Gonna have close to 2,000 head. If that doesn't excite you, this will. They're gonna have over 1,300 weaned calves with all their shots. Now, you don't see that very often in these sales this early, so we will as we go later in the year and especially early next year. But they've got a really, really nice selection of calves on there. 210 Charolais calves, 60 days weaned, weighing 400 to 600 pounds. The Rains outfit have 325 head, 60 to 90 days weaned, covering a wide span. They've been weaned and turned out, guys. They'd be foolproof. They'll sort you up some deals you'd like of them. C4 outfit's got 150 head lightweight steers. But check them out. They start at 11 o'clock in the morning this Wednesday They'll be on the big bunches by noon. If you can't get there, call them early. Get approved on DVAuction.com. Get you some weaned calves. How about your feeder cattle market? Your real-time index on DV Auction late in the day on Monday after all the sales had closed, 249.44. That was down 20 cents from the end of last week, but we had some really fancy premium type sales up in the Northern Plains last week. We had a few on Monday, but not as many commercial sales as we had on Monday. But down 20 cents, but holding in there pretty good. Latest CME cash feeder cattle index 249.83. I want to give you the heads up on a sale that's coming up this weekend on the 16th. That's this Saturday. It's Ginger Hill Angus, and that's out in Culpeper, Virginia. They got really good cattle in Virginia, and this would be one of them, guys. That's Brooke Miller, longtime friend there, former president of the U.S. Cattlemen's Association. He's got really good cattle and be one of the top breeders out east, guys. He's going to be selling 40 bulls and 35 females on his sale coming up the 16th here on Saturday. Get on DVAuction.com and check them out. Ginger Hill Angus. Let's talk about your big sales on Monday. Oklahoma City, Oklahoma National Stockyards had 6,200 head. The feeder steers are $2 to $4 higher, with 6 weights as much as $10 higher. Feeder heifers were steady to $2 higher, and the lighter weight calves, like your wheat munchers, $15 to $20 higher. Of course, they had 6, 8, 10, 12 inches of rain all around central Missouri there, and they're just absolutely wanting them. Joplin Regional Stockyards had 7,500 there. The steer calves, lighter calves, sold up to $20 higher, similar to Oklahoma City. Your bigger, heavier weight feeder cattle were kind of uneven there, but it was a really good sale there at Joplin. Joplin is your national beef wire stick-out sale of the day for your market in the lower Midwest right there, guys. Check them out, your best tested weights, which is nearly all of them, like Joplin does. 365 head of 4-weight steers, average 460 pounds at $294.58. That's over $13 higher just on your weighted average than last week. 898 head of 5-weight steer calves, average 553 at $273.80 on the weighted average. 895 head of 6-weight steers in Joplin, average $649. Weighted average price on all of them $260.89. 1,334 head of 7-weight steers. There'd be calves, there'd be yearlings. They will average $751. Average price $255.34. Impressive. 531 head of 8-weight steers in Joplin, averaged $841 at $245.36. Look at some heifers. How about 523 head of 4-weight heifer calves, average $453 at $271.16. That would be a foot higher or a foot and a half higher there. How about 618 head of 5-weight heifers, average $552 at $251.81. 427 head of 6-weight heifers, average $641 at $243.15. And 787 head of 7-weight heifers, Joplin Regional Stockyards in Carthage, Missouri, they average $729 at $234.27. Biggest stick-out sale that I saw come out of Joplin was 105 head of lightweight yearling steers, weighed 705, bring 284. Wow, that's as high as they get anywhere, guys. Some other individual quotes from all around. How about straight north there, rural northwest Missouri, Tina Livestock in Tina, Missouri sells 75 feeder heifers, weigh 7 1/4 and bring 260. Russell Livestock Market up in Russell, Iowa sells 63 big steers, weighed 871, bring 261.50. But the most impressive quote that I saw anywhere on Monday in your Macrocin No BS top quote for the day come out of Faith, South Dakota livestock auction. It was the Kim Angus steers, 80 of them, weighed 657, bring 305. And that's your feeder flash for Tuesday.